Well, Leicester City is hosting Arsenal at their stadium where they've just won 3 out of all the games they've really hosted at the King Power Stadium, a stadium that really capacitates 32,261 people in the Midlands there. So welcome to Rokani Media Football. We are here to bring you the match preview between Leicester City and Arsenal. Arsenal playing its second consecutive game away from home, and their last game they played away from home, they lost to Everton by 1-0. But they've been the best performing side away from home, and they are still, because they've only lost how many games away from home? I think 2. They've lost 2 and drawn 1 away from home. I think Man City has also lost some good games away from home and drawn more. So Arsenal is the best performing team away from home, and they're going to King Power Stadium, where they don't usually perform badly, because in their previous away fixtures against Leicester, they've gone ahead to beat Leicester, I think, thrice, and they'll be looking to go ahead and beat them for the 4th time in a row. Rokani David is my name. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name. I repeat it, Rokani David is my name. Though some of you called me RD, but that is it. That is a short abbreviation. Now, we come into this game with Maddison doubtful because of his knee injury. He's going to be assessed. You get, but most of the players of Leicester City are really back. Yuri Tiedemann is back. He came in and played close to 30 minutes as United took on them at Old Trafford, and they lost by 3-0. So Murray is back. Wilfred Ndidi is back. So James Maddison is the huge doubt, but I think they might force him to come on the field of play and really play some good game of football. Now, Arsenal's last game, they played away from home. They beat Aston Villa by 4-2. That was a thriller that most of you enjoyed in here, and we reacted to it, and you guys were really over the moon. Leicester City last played their previous game at Old Trafford. They are beaten by Manchester United by 3-0. But during the first half, between the 7th minute and 20th minute, Leicester had close to 3 chances of really putting themselves ahead, but David De Gea pulled out worldies to see to it that he saves United from really conceding those goals. He kept a clean sheet, and that was his 180th match, or sorry, 180th clean sheet for Manchester United, and he leveled with Peter Schmeichel at that. So as it stands, Arsenal is topping the Premier League table with 54 points. Man City is having 52 points. United is having 49 points. If Arsenal win tomorrow, and they're having a chance again to go ahead of City by 5 points, because if Arsenal win tomorrow, they are going to be having 57 points, and Man City will be at 52. And guess what? Man City are playing at 20-30 hours after Arsenal playing. It's going to be the last game, not so? It's going to be one of the last games that's going to be played in the Premier League. That is tomorrow. I think it's going to be the closure of the day as we prepare for other teams to come in through. So again, as it were on the weekend, that Arsenal played fast and piled more pressure to Man City. Then Man City has really gone ahead to show us that they can go away at Bournemouth and really get a win. A stadium that's not all that easy for them. So if Arsenal really win their first game, that means Man City will come on with a lot of pressure to go ahead and really win their beautiful game of football. So as things stand, it's Mikel Arteta's army, and he has gone ahead to let us know that Thomas Partey is available. Gabriel Jesus, the progress is really putting Mikel Arteta in a different level of elation, meaning that very soon Gabriel Jesus is really going to be returning. The other one is El Nini out. I think those are the injuries that Arsenal are really having. The rest of the players are really available. So he's having a fully fit match squad, and I think he's ready to go ahead and really put out his team. And Leicester City, I think all the players that they need to face against Arsenal are really available, and I think the last time they played Arsenal at King Power, Arsenal won it by 2-0. I remember Lacazette was on target, and I think Emily Smith-Rowe. And for Arsenal, Emily Smith-Rowe is back. And I think Mikel Arteta never wanted to hurry him back, because the last time he did it, he got a setback, and he wants him to be fully fit. And obviously, I think he's going to make the bench. He's not going to start, but I believe he's going to make the bench. Now, let's get into this predicted starting 11 of Arsenal, and who do we think is really going to be into the 11 spots that are available for Mikel Arteta to fill. That is at the King Power Stadium. And I think later tonight we'll be told the squad of Arsenal that has travelled to Leicester, and be letting you know whether Thomas Partey is part of the travelling squad. But the system Mikel Arteta is using, he's so much in love with the 4-3-3 this time round, and obviously this man is going to be in goal. After pulling out a very good save that could have seen Arsenal really be behind again for the third time in the game of Aston Villa, Arsenal went ahead and capitalized onto that, and they found themselves scoring a winner for Jorginho that resulted in an own goal by Emi Martinez. But he pulled out a very good save, and I think he's one of those goalkeepers that you have no reason to blame for any of those goals that they considered against Aston Villa. I think the defense let him down, but for him, every time he was called upon to come in and put in a wild yellow save, he went in for a world-class moment, and textbook saves were registered by him. No reason of not starting him in goal. On the right back, I believe Ben White played his best game ever for Arsenal, according to me, because amidst having been exposed into that second goal that Arsenal conceded towards the end of the first half, Ben White put in a shift that I've never seen him put through. Do you know that Ben White put close to 6 crosses in the 18 box area of Aston Villa? And the first goal, one of those resulted into a goal, and would have gone ahead to bag himself another assist in that game if at all Edin Ketia never really saw his effort rattling the crossbar and obviously going into a goal kick. So I think Ben White is really going to be here. I'm not expecting Tomiyasu to come in through and play, as I think the manager is going to be preparing him to tell him, please, you're going to play in the game of Sporting Lisbon away from home, because on the 9th we are going to be playing. So accept my thoughts and my choice. You aren't going to play this time around. Maybe you'll come on later, as you did when you're winning against Aston Villa. But Ben White really had a very fantastic game on Saturday. Left back, with rumors of Kian Tierney wanting to go out of Arsenal, teams like Newcastle, Juventus, Inter Milan looking at his signature, I believe that won't turn away Mikel Arteta from his certified left back in the Premier League. Arguably, him and Luke Shaw are the best left backs in the league this season. That's it. It's in between Zinchenko and Luke Shaw. And I won't be shocked if at all at the end of the season, when the team of the season is being really put out by the Premier League, one of these two will be part. Not so? That is Zinchenko, and I think he's going to play left back. There is no way you're benching Zinchenko. 1 week of rest. Arsenal is returning back into action, and that will call in for a lot of things like him capitalizing onto his effort that he really saw himself put Arsenal level when he scored the second goal against Aston Villa. And secondly, he should be more vigilant by not losing the ball, because the last time he lost the ball, his team conceded that goal of Oli Watkins that he scores against Arsenal in the 50th minute is as a result of Zinchenko losing the ball, yet all his other players are in transit, and that really costed Arsenal a very huge blow, and it was a loss by then, but Arsenal capitalized and really went into the needful. So when you look at the central defense, I think it's going to be William Saliba on the right side of the central defense, and I believe it's not yet time for Kivio to come in through, and Gabriel Magalhaes is going to go on and really find himself onto that. Now, that back four is really having a problem. When did they last keep a clean sheet? When did Arsenal last keep a clean sheet this season? I'm talking about the Premier League games. They played against West Ham, they conceded 1. They played against Brighton, they conceded 2. They kept a clean sheet against Newcastle, 0-0. They drew. Everton beat them by 1-0. They kept a clean sheet against Tottenham Hotspur. They are beaten by Man City and they kept a clean sheet. Aston Villa scored, and Brentford. So in the 8 games they've played in the Premier League, there are only 2 games that I've seen Arsenal keep clean sheets. A draw of 0-0 at Emirates. It was a goalless draw, and that clean sheet they get when they are beating Tottenham Hotspur by 2-0. That's it. And that is Arsenal for you. So I think the manager of Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, is really going to task his defense to really make alterations. They have to make alterations in how they get their job done, because it's really shaming that things are not going their way. A team that was so much known of keeping clean sheets has really turned into a side that no longer keeps clean sheets. And away from home, Arsenal had kept very many clean sheets before we went to the World Cup. But this time round, I think they've only kept 1 clean sheet away from home against Spurs. So they need to find themselves in a position of keeping more and more and more clean sheets. And I think this is a game where they can't keep a clean sheet if at all they are so much serious. This is really a game that they should take very much serious. And amidst them having won the game against Aston Villa, but they've been conceding very many goals. So this back four has a task to keep a clean sheet when they are playing Leicester City. That's the hugest task they are having in front of them, and they should go for it and find themselves in a position of not conceding. Now, with Thomas Partey back and Jorginho having played 2 games against Man City and against Aston Villa very, very well, what is the manager going to do? Is he really going to go on and fidget and make an immediate change of Jorginho and replace him with Thomas Partey? What are your thoughts about it? For me, as I paused for a second, I thought you guys have come in with your thoughts, but my thought is simple. You can't hurry back a player like Thomas Partey. The previous time he has gone ahead to hurry him back. He has paid for the repercussions, and I think Mikel Arteta is a good student from his mistakes that he's really making. So I believe if Thomas Partey is going to be available, he's going to be benched. Maybe he can come on later and play some 30 minutes, but I think Jorginho is going to be part of that central attacking midfield of Arsenal. And I think Arsenal fans now trust Jorginho better than they used to do when he had just signed for them, because they thought that he was one of those that meant nothing to that squad, but they had forgotten that it's Mikel Arteta who engineered his bringing him at the club. Very much influential in the game of against Aston Villa, involved in 3 goals that Arsenal score. I think, when did the CDM of Arsenal when did you last see a CDM of Arsenal being involved in 3 goals in a single game? Especially a game like this, where all what was needed was experience to really lead by example, and then he went in for it. So I believe Jorginho is going to start, and I don't think Mikel Arteta is one of those managers that really believes in favoritism, because we've seen managers here who really believe in favoritism, and I hate it. I want a manager who rewards a player who plays very well. With Jorginho's performance against Aston Villa, there is no way I bench him. There is no way I'm benching him. Now, the other person or the other player to play alongside Jorginho on the left shoulder is going to be Martin Odegaard. He was really great. I know most Arsenal fans are really having the miss, that sitter that he missed with an empty net, still in their heads, but get that off and look at him and how he played that game of football. You give him all the credit that he deserves. That is a player called Odegaard. To me, he was the next best. He was the best player next or after Jorginho. That's it. Now, in this position, I would have called in for people like Emile Smith-Rowe to start. If Thomas Partey is 100% fit to start, or Fabio Vieira to start, but I think Mikel Arteta looks like there is a player he always wants to see on his field of play. Hamid is him dropping off every game that he's playing, but it looks like he holds him in high esteem, and that is Granit Xhaka. I know he's going to play Xhaka into that position on the right shoulder of Jorginho. So that's the midfield 3 of Arsenal, but to me, I'm having thoughts that maybe it's time Xhaka got dropped. As he did it on Martinelli, I believe he should do it on Granit Xhaka, because Martinelli showed us how impactful he is every time he gets off the bench. His energy, his directness, his composure, especially when there is space, and crafting something from nowhere, that is Gabriel Martinelli. I think that would act as a wake-up call for Xhaka, and that's why I think Arsenal is going in for Tielemans Yuri, because they believe that he can play a better job than Granit Xhaka. After Xhaka, there is a player who was really knocked every time he got the ball against Aston Villa. He even lost himself and felt like fighting. That is a player known as Bukayo Saka, right forward for Arsenal into this system. Now, for him, we have no discussion about him. Even if you call for his resting, I believe it will be so much viable if at all Jesus was around, because Jesus makes every player playing around him better. We saw it when Saka got out of the game Nottingham. When he was injured in the first half, he found himself out. Then they brought on Reece Nelson, and because of Gabriel Jesus, he played very well and made Reece Nelson look better as a right forward for Arsenal. So I believe without Gabriel Jesus, you cannot risk yourself benching Bukayo Saka, because he's unbenchable, and he's going to start on the right forward side of Arsenal. And secondly, he's going to have to score how many goals? He has going to have to score 9 goals in the Premier League, and he's having 8 assists. Those are a 17 goal involvements. He's level with Rashford. The difference is that Rashford has gone ahead to score 14 goals and 3 assists. So Saka is really one of the best players of Arsenal this season. Though to me, I believe Odegaard and Jesus, Thomas Partey are really doing better than this lad. So as it stands, I think Saka is going to start that side. Center forward, I've been on Twitter reading loads and loads of tweets coming in from people. You know, people are not happy with Nketiah. However much Mikel Arteta is really backing him and really standing with him. Some Arsenal fans are not good with him. They don't want Eddie Nketiah to come in through and be part of this game. They say, what happened to Martinelli, and he came up as an impactful player off the bench, should be done to a player called Nketiah. But in my thoughts, I believe he's going to bring in Nketiah, because most of you are really asking in for Trossard to lead the line or Martinelli, but I think it's going to be Nketiah to lead the line for Arsenal. And the left forward, I don't see Martinelli start again. I think it's better. It's better. He got benched again. He comes on as an impact player, because he's the only impact player, especially in the wide areas, that has no house off the bench. So I believe it's going to be Trossard starting onto the left forward, and then Gabriel Martinelli will come on later. So if you look at that squad, I think it might come more or less the same as it played against which side? Against Aston Villa, and that's why people say that Mikel Arteta is predictable and he needs to make some adjustments. If at all he keeps naming the same 11, but even if at all he keeps naming the same 11, he should keep it in his know that as the game is going on, he should be making adjustments in tactics and how they defend. So it looks like he's a believer of Pep Guardiola, because Pep Guardiola believes that I don't need to change my playing style to really win any opponent. But Arteta should know that when Pep Guardiola was playing him at Emirates, he even played pragmatically. For the very first time, we saw Pep Guardiola leave the ball for Arsenal and not going in for possession or for a possession bowling side, and he gave it to Arsenal and capitalized on their mistakes and really hit them bad. That is a player or a manager known as Mikel Arteta. As it stands, he should start to make tactical changes. That's it. So guys, that is my predicted starting 11 as you see it for you, and your thoughts are welcome in the comment section below. And my prediction is 3-1. I hope Arsenal are going to learn from their mistakes. I see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet against Leicester City. That's it. So guys, 3-0 or 3-1 for Arsenal, because that win against Aston Villa got their spirits up again from relief to belief. And I believe they're going to come in this game with a different mind attitude altogether. I sign out for now. See you later. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. Rokani David is my name, and keep it Rokani Media Football. Not so? So let's wait and see what the results are going to be by the end of tomorrow. 18 hours, that's when this game is coming in through for a side known as Arsenal and Leicester City. Leicester City really want to fight for their lives for not to be relegated, but it looks like they are facing the best team in the league. Will they stop Arsenal? I think Arsenal won't get stopped. I think they're going to go back to their winning run that they had of very many games, and hence claiming the trophy. Cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. I'm out, my mates.